Oh, yes. Well, welcome to Turkish Joy, where we happily overanalyze Turkish dizzies and have way too much fun doing it. And it's so hard to press pause for that next episode, at least for me. I think Lynn is a little bit more disciplined, but I just want to see just a little bit of the next episode. So today we're talking about our current favorite, which is Güller, Veya, Günahlar, which is Sins and Roses. And so, Lynn, let's start out with the Dizi debrief. We're on episode 3.
Okay. First off, this episode's alternate title is definitely Secrets. Yes. I had a catchier, funnier one, but I can't remember it now. So
it's okay. I like secrets.
Yes, it is all about the secrets. It is all about it's all about the fact that this family claims to be such a family, and how could you do this, brother? But you got so many secrets. And everybody's using all the secrets to blackmail each other on top of that. So it's all about the secrets this episode.
Why not? If you have secrets, you might as well blackmail over them.
Right? Might as well make a little bit of money off of them. And everybody's got that same concept. I mean, anyone that's got a secret, they're like, well, let me go make some money off of this. And so everybody's getting blackmailed in this episode. So we're going to go with secrets and blackmailing.
Okay. All right. I like that. Yes.
Okay. Now, first off, as a reminder, at the end of last episode, we had the cliffhanger of Serhat shooting John. We didn't know if he was dead or not. And Zeynep came in and was like, what did you do? No. She didn't care about the dude. She cared about the fact that he's going to go to jail and, all that stuff. And she's going to definitely have to take care of his daughters then. Anyway.
So what happened to John?
So what happened to John is that he is not dead, and it was an accidental shooting. He had accosted Serhat and been like, don't shoot me, and hugged him with the gun, which why is
not real smart?
Why do men want to hug each other when they've got weapons?
Between them.
Right,
yeah.
Between them. That's not the time to go in for the hug. That's the time to back away. Or leave or try to get away from the gun. But so he's not dead, but before he passes out, before he gets taken away by the ambulance, he tells Zeynep, there are these letters, grab these letters. And so Zeynep grabs them and puts them in her purse. Right?
I forgot about the letters. Yes.
Yes, because the letters will come up later on so many times. And so what the letters actually showed was that John was not the father. He didn't know who the father was, but he kept Barak's secret because she knew his secret of that he went to jail for Ezra, Cihan's wife, killing someone. So there is so many secrets in this episode because Cihan also knows that his wife did all this, and he's kind of like the biggest scumbag of all. But anyway, the mom, the mom comes in and starts complaining to Kader about how her and Zeynep and sister Zeynep are leaving, and she should go ahead and pack her stuff, because
lovely
Zeynep and Serhat are off handling brother shot in the stomach. And mom's like, well, you're not a nanny. And she's like, no, not. Like, I'm over here trying to solve the wife's problems and the massive amount of calamity and catastrophe that she brought on this family. And she gets to sleep through it all.
Yeah, because she's still in a coma.
She's still in a coma, and she's over there basically like the sleeping princess when she's the evil queen. And Serhat even makes that joke. And so Serhat goes to the hospital and apologizes to the brother, and the brother's like, do you know who Kadar's father is? Because now nobody knows. And he's like, I do not. And so we're like, who is Kadar's father? Then Zeynep and Cihan go to see someone else who's blackmailing, and that blackmailer mentions that is Cihan the father?
Mm.
And that's when he first mentions it. So this is just the episode of secrets. Everybody is hiding something and everybody is being blackmailed. Serhat doesn't kill Barack, but he's itching to kill something. He's itching to kill someone. Like, that's what you get from this episode, that Serhat is a very short fuse and he's ready to blow, and he's just looking for the right placement of his anger. That's all that he's trying to locate is. He is so angry and upset, and the person he should be most upset to is in a coma. He can't express that emotion to her. So he's like over here, I'm like, my finger's on an itchy trigger finger. Like, I've got an itchy trigger finger. Like, I mean, it's gonna go
and he
down.
can't get any resolution, because if he could just talk to her, I mean, that's the whole tension there.
Get the truth.
Yeah, he can't get to the truth because she's in a coma, and so she can't say anything. You know what I keep thinking is, I don't think that this is true, but I keep wondering if she's just pretending to be in a coma.
I thought that same thing in this episode. I'm like, wouldn't that be nice that you're over there like, let me just take a nap. You guys
exactly.
I
let everybody else deal with all this chaos that I brought in on the family.
I actually thought that at the end of this episode at one point. I was like, I mean, would I fake being in a coma if I had done all that? Yeah, I'd be comfortable with that.
I would too, except I can't lay still that long.
I mean, I'd get up when no one was in the room.
Yeah. There's got to be a whole story in that, you know?
They'd be like, this coma patient's heart rate keeps going up and down. How's she in a coma?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Right. So,
and isn't Kader just so precious? I just
my God,
love that child.
But what I fell in love with this episode is Zeynep's family, except for Ebru, but she means well, and I get it now. But
remember, I told you, Ebru has a good heart, even though she has very dense ways of showing it.
She said it best. She did. She said, I'm Zeynep's sister. Zeynep may be the intelligent one, but I'm the evil one.
That's right.
And I was there you go, girl.
Yeah. But she I will say, though, to help her character out a little bit, she typically uses the evilness to get back at somebody that has hurt her family, or two, to help her family in some way.
And she does that in this episode.
The end, in her brain, I think the end justifies the means. She's a typical example of that.
Right. And I feel like there's a personality disorder there with it, where, I'm going to get to whatever means is that end. And you're going to be like, okay, that's a great end, but it's going to be painful throughout. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. Like, here's the other side.
Yeah.
I'm
that's
not
the truth.
And there's something that she does at the cliffhanger end of the episode where you're like, okay, I get what you're doing, but your heart's not in the right place right now.
Yeah.
All right. So Zeynep gets a happy family call, but Ebru at this point is stirring the pot. She starts stirring the pot there.
Tell me about
that. She starts talking about how Cihan might be the father. And during that call, Zeynep is like, the mother asked me for someone to clean their house. Call so-and-so. And
I love that.
Instead, she shows up. We'll get to that, though.
Yes.
So, okay, so I have Cihan is prying and stirring the pot, but
well, you see, Cihan is doing all this business stuff behind. That's a whole nother level. With Tibet behind Serhat's back. So Serhat is the one that owns the hotel and has the money. So he employs, as a nice brother, and is kind of typical in Turkish culture, he employs both of his brothers in high-level positions.
In this episode offer John the hotel manager position. So
yes. And I really like him. Yeah. And I just put my hand up too long.
I was like, oh, wait, you can do that? And it does that?
Yeah, it's some sort of setting. I don't know. Yours isn't doing it, so evidently your settings are different than mine.
I'm like, good,
Anyway,
because I talk a lot with my
yeah,
hands.
I will try not to do that at least until I figure out where that setting is. Anyway, yeah, so Cihan has been there almost since the beginning. I think that the hotel opened. Not John, because he was in prison, but Cihan.
Right.
But he doesn't have his own money, right? Because he's an employee. So
Yes.
that's one thing that Serhat is so smart. And I don't know if it's just because he's kind of cautious by nature or what, but he's so smart. He doesn't make his brothers partners. He employs them, which is very smart. I think,
Mhm.
especially when you're dealing with family sometimes.
And especially that caliber of family.
Well, that caliber for sure. But I mean, he doesn't know that. So he's just being cautious, I guess. But
It's
he
funny that
employs
you say that because he's cautious, except around his family. He lets them get away with anything. And
sometimes. That's true.
Cihan is a horrible one. The whole
He
relationship,
is. Is.
he's blackmailing. He blackmailed Azra into marrying him.
Right.
Like all that is because he
Yeah.
wanted to control her.
Well, Gian wants to be a
John,
bigger man than what he actually is. He's got a
yes,
Napoleon complex to be very
100%.
clear. And so, and plus he's jealous of Serhat because Serhat is successful and likable.
And
And
good
Jihan's
looking.
always been the little brother that
Yes.
kind of is a little bit of a weasel. He always has been from a child. And so he
He's like
wasn't
the
very
Danny
likable.
DeVito of Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the movie Twins.
Yeah. Yeah. So he just doesn't quite ever, and even in his own mind, you can tell in his own mind he doesn't come up to snuff, and he never has enough money, and so that's why he's always blackmailing and looking for ways to do business behind Serhat's back, because he's planning on leveraging his position to get more money because he doesn't feel like he's ever gotten a fair shake, when it's because he's actually a weasel, and that's the real reason. But in his head, it's he just hasn't gotten a fair shake, and Serhat has all the advantages. So there you go.
Right. He didn't get what Serhat got, which he did.
No.
Yeah. Um, so Zeynep's brother sees Azra and is like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna like." I saw
Oh
this. This is
no.
a little moment.
I
I'm like, this
know,
is gonna come up.
Mustafa.
Yep,
Yes.
this is
He
gonna
is
come
such
up
a
more.
sweet Turkish guy.
Oh yeah, he looks sweet. Um, Zeynep and Serhat in this episode, what they really did was introduce the storyline of will they, won't they?
What do
That
you
they
think?
did. They will. Yeah, I think eventually, I think it'll take time and it'll take a lot of hoops and a lot of fires to put out, but eventually they will get together and hopefully they will. If not, then I'm going to be very angry at the writers of the show and I
I
might have to
know. I
go and
know.
get
Because they
them.
make a potentially beautiful couple. Yeah.
Yes, yes. They make like she doesn't put up with his BS and she doesn't
No.
let him tell her what to do. She's like,
No.
you can tell me what you're gonna do, but and I'll take it as an under advisement, but that doesn't change what I was gonna do anyway. Like she's very
Exactly.
much like that.
She's
And
very independent.
Sharrat's yeah, and Sarat's never met a woman like that. He's used to the idea of a perfect woman. And a lot in this episode, Zeynep is like, yeah, just because you had that doesn't mean everyone's like that. You need to slow your roll, brother, because you're talking about me now. You don't need to, we don't overgeneralize like that. Not all princesses are bad.
And
No.
she's kind of like her dad, I think, in that regard, because that's the way he is. He is just himself. And he's really not,
Mhm.
he's nice and polite and has that, I don't know, genteel hospitality about him to a point, RF, but he's just one of my favorite people. I just love him. I just want to squeeze him. Every time I see him, I'm
Oh,
like, I want to go give you a hug. He's just such a great dad, but he's also that way. He's not, it doesn't matter if Serhat has millions of dollars or whatever, or anybody. He's going to go out
well,
and
in
work
this
hard.
episode, you actually really start to see it, and we'll get into
Mm-hmm.
that because I'm going to keep on going. All right,
Oh, go,
so
go.
Zeynep starts following. It's that will they, won't they thing. Um, the daughters had gotten into a massive fight and broke stuff, and broke like each other's stuff is like retaliatory. Like I'm so angry at you, I want to break your headphones. No,
Yeah.
I'm just as angry at you, I want to break your sunglasses. Well, Zeynep had told Sarat to replace it, and so she helped him create a happy memory with his daughters. Um, daughters are fighting up a storm, and they hate each other because Barack pitted them against each other from the beginning. You can't do this because your sister's going to be better than you, or you can't do that because I know your sister's going to be better than you. And we have the reintroduction of Sedef. Sedef?
Sedef,
oh
yes.
my God. Danger,
that woman
danger,
just
danger.
makes my skin crawl.
Have you ever heard of the character Irene Adler in the Sherlock Holmes series?
The name is familiar, but I can't really place her.
She's a seductress. She's an intelligent woman who is only after herself at all points in time.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, sure.
Sedef, that is 100%. And she kind of looks like an actress that played her. But she wants to be Barack. Yes. Like, that's what she wants. She wants to come in and replace the Barackness of it. Then during all this kind of stuff where she's like, let me weasel my way in, Cihan tells the adoptive parents to kidnap Kader. And he's like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So he's over there telling her to kidnap Kader, and he pays them for it.
Yeah, it was Cihan, you're right. It was like Serhat. He wouldn't do that, would he?
Or Serhat. Yeah, you see how my notes work? Because you're like, I didn't remember that. I'm like, see, I wouldn't have remembered that. That's why I have to take notes.
You take your notes, girlfriend.
I will. We're doing one episode at a time now.
That's right. My notes. That's right.
All right. So during this, Ebru is cleaning Cihan and Azra's house. And Zeynep takes Kader to go shopping because Serhat was like, she needs some books and give her a good day. And during their walk back, and she's at the height, she's had an amazing day of shopping and spending it with sisters Zeynep, and she loves it. She gets kidnapped by the adoptive parents, and they're like, no, we're going to take it. And Ekron grabs her wrist and bruises her wrist. And they get Kader and they kidnap her instantly. Zeynep's like, let me call Serhat. And so she calls him and she's like, listen to what happened, blah, bitty, blue, bitty, blue, bitty. And so they're like, we're going to go to their house. And so they both show up at the house at the same time. Now during this time, the sisters, the two daughters, Halal and Ikram, they're still fighting, and Halal puts oxidizer in Ikram's shampoo, making her hair fall out. But Sedef is there to save the day, like the scandalous woman she is.
Yeah.
Gives them a picture and everything of her and their mother at the bachelorette party. Puts it in the living room because everybody needs more pictures of the woman in the coma that messed it all up. And let's add her at a bachelorette party. They're two drunk girls at a party, and they're like, let's put it in the living room.
For sure.
Now, on the way back, Azra had gone to the beauty salon. Cihan had taken her to a new one because he was like, well, you're selling your purses and they're helping you send money to that family just because you killed their kid. You need to get over it, type of thing. And so he's like, well, I'm going to tell the new beauty salon that I want her blonde. And the other girls in the beauty salon are sitting there going, look at that. Her husband chooses her hairstyle. She's like, I'm not getting blonde. And she gets up, and she had overheard a conversation in the car on the way to the beauty salon where the adoptive parents had called and said, we took Kader, we're going to Heineck. And so because of the blondness of the request, she was like, well, I'm going to call Serhat. And so she tells them that the adoptive parents took Kader to Heineck. Yep. And so Serhat and during all that, they're still waiting, okay? There's so much story here. See what I mean? So much story. So they're still waiting, and they go to Zeynep's parents' house, and they're like, okay, because they're clearly not home. The adoptive parents, they fled the scene. And so Serhat gets to meet her parents and have a lovely afternoon with them. Like he's over there, like your chestnuts taste amazing, sir. Like it's a great happy evening.
Yep. And they're a
And
nice family. They really are. They're such
they
a
are
nice, typical
amazing.
Turkish family. Like I've gotten to spend time with, and I just love them. I could go sit in their house and be comfortable at any moment.
Well, and that's where Zeynep's father, Arif,
Arif, yeah. Arif,
okay,
sorry.
where
Yeah.
you can kind of see that because he's talking to Serhat and he's like, well, don't you want more out of life? And he's like, I'm happy. Why do I
Yeah.
need more? It's
Exactly.
not about more. It's about what you got. And it's about quality over quantity. And it's a very tender moment where Serhat's like, maybe I'm a dick. But they now know where Kader is. And so because Azar had called and been like, FYI, they're in Heineck, and Sedef is still messing stuff up, and she fixes the daughter's hair and gives them a present. And she's just so scandalous, and she's so short skirted. Like I'm over
my
here
lands.
like,
It's like, why do you even bother to wear a skirt, girl?
come on, a little bit. Like I hate to go like that's too short, but it is. Like I
That's
feel like
a little bit unusual. That's a new trend that I've noticed in the Turkish Dizis that when I first started watching them, and even when I was over there, they would never show skin. They actually would not show skin. So just an interesting tidbit, I guess, on the side. When I first went to Turkey and went to a university there, the trend at that time was, do you remember the low-rise jeans so that everybody could see the bellies? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Turkish girls would not show skin, which I greatly admired them for this, but they're always on the cutting edge of fashion, much more so than we are typically. But and I couldn't figure out how their shirts never rode up, even when they wore the low-rise jeans, so you could never see their stomach, but they looked great because they don't have much hips, generally speaking, for whatever reason. Okay, that's just a personal observation. But anyway, all of us American girls.
I'm waiting. I'm comparing all these women.
Anyway, I found out while I was there at university what happened, that the girls' shirts never rode up. They wore bodysuits. All of their shirts that look like t-shirts were bodysuits. That's how careful they were about showing skin. And I thought that's so clever. I never thought of that because I wouldn't wear shirts like that because I didn't want them to ride up, right? And so the reason I'm mentioning that is from that until now. So now they're still fairly careful up top to a point, depending on who it is.
That, but not so much.
Honestly, in real life, they don't wear short skirts like that either. I've never seen someone in real life, but I've noticed that in the Dizzies, as I'm watching them, that has been happening. And you do notice in fashion in general that mini skirts have been on the rise for the last couple of years. So they're very cutting edge on fashion. But I have to say that I'm not fond of the mini skirts. I mean, they're just like micro mini skirts. Yeah. Exactly. So I think they're just trying to be very cutting edge and clever on the Dizzies, because I personally would be very surprised if when I'm in Istanbul, if I ever see anybody dressed like that. I know that when I worked in the offices there and visited offices, because I did a lot of business English teaching, the women were always dressed extremely professionally and they looked great. I mean, they were very sharp and classy, but I never saw anything like that.
Classy is a great word.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like, except for Irene Adler.
Yeah.
Okay. So, where are we at? Okay. Yes, we've discussed, yes. But she does fix the daughter's hair, and there's a nice, there's a nice tender moment between Zeynep. There's a lot of tender moments during this episode between Serhat and Zeynep. There's just a ton of them where you're like, okay, this is where the will they won't. They like each other, but they're stubborn and they're super stubborn and a lot of pride going on. So,
well, he's still married, and with her being a very proud. Did he already get a divorce?
He divorced her while she was in the coma. He did that in the first episode.
Okay. But still, in her mind, until it's resolved about his wife, I don't think she would go there.
No, she
And so
100% won't go there.
and
Mm-mm.
he's so
And
burned by
he hasn't shared that he's divorced the mother during all this. He hasn't shared he's
he
been
didn't
very
tell her yet.
closeted.
Oh,
Well,
I couldn't remember.
he didn't tell the daughters yet. He's been very guarded on
Yeah.
keeping all the secrets from their daughters because he doesn't want the kids to think their mom is trash, and she is. So what she's
Well, and they're
done.
going to find out because if she
Yes,
ever
they
wakes up.
will.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So
Next scene.
next scene. So Cihan gets angry at Azra, and that whole thing figures out that she told Serhat. But we'll get back to that. Now, they go and they finally get Kader back, and they find them driving in an orange car down the road, and or they're going into a restaurant, and so Serhat approaches them in the restaurant because they need the car keys to get Kader out of the vehicle, and Zeynep stays outside. And the moment that the adoptive parents see Serhat, this is one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, get it. Um, but the moment that they see Serhat, Ikram stays, but the woman leaves and goes out. And you see Serhat just go badass mode and like, this is what we're going to do. And then he's like, I'm still going to pay you, but you have no claim on Kader. You need to leave me alone and leave this alone.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, is this he gets the key from him, the car key. He's like, oh, is that your working hand? And he remembers that Ikram had hurt Zeynep. And so he hurts his hand, and like, I don't know if he breaks it or sprains it, but he puts it in a nicely uncomfortable position where it's going to hurt for a little while. And he's got the car key, and he goes outside, and Zeynep has got the adoptive mother by the hair. And she's like, you think you can do this? And he's over there like, I will bust a cap in your, whatever she's saying, where she's like, you think, no, we're not playing this game anymore. I've been nice, but no longer need to be nice to you. And Serhat comes out and he sees her doing that and he starts grinning. Are you kidding me? It's adorable.
Yeah.
But and then they get Kader and they take her, and it was a beautiful reunion, and yay. So
Are we ready for the
Sedef
cliffhanger
fixes her
yet?
hair. Huh?
Are we ready for the cliffhanger yet?
Yes, we're actually getting to the cliffhanger. I'm like, oh wait, I still got a few more pages. All right, Ebru gets DNA from Kader and Cihan cleaning the house.
Yes.
Okay.
I love that. I'm like,
yes.
Go Abru.
Abru, yes. Serhat is like, why did you tell them to kidnap Kader? That was horrible. And he was like, I'm trying to make you happy. BS,
Really?
BS.
Yeah.
Yes. Sedef snakes it. She's continuing to be a snake. But Serhat is starting to break down the hold that Barack has on his daughters. That's what we start seeing. That he's like, your mother was wrong about body image issues. You don't need to lose weight, but that doesn't mean that Halal doesn't go and buy weight loss drugs.
Right.
Now Halal then figures out that there's a secret that she doesn't know that's going on, and she asks, why is Kader afraid of Serhat? So then Serhat goes and meets with the adoptive mother, and he learns a whole bunch of stuff, like they don't know who Kadar's father is, but they know he's a scoundrel. They know he's dangerous. They know that he's scarier than anything out there, type of thing.
Yeah.
Cihan takes Azra to go see her mom, and her mom's in a dementia state, and she makes her think that she's in trouble. She's like, listen to how horrible your daughter is, blah bitty blooby.
Yeah.
So he refreshes that fear in Azra so that he can keep that control with her. Zeynep starts planning medicinal plans. Serhat doesn't want her to leave. He also learns that she was actually a literature teacher, not a florist.
That's right.
And I
really like that. Let's talk about that for a minute, okay? Because that's one of my favorite scenes. So this is typical of some sort of prejudice everywhere. But a lot of times, if people are considered less educated, they're considered less intelligent, right? That's just human nature, it seems like. So Serhat has money and he has education because he met, so this is a point I love, because he met Zeynep when she was selling flowers, which I will say that in Turkey, so again, we're looking at a cultural context here, the flower sellers many times are gypsies. So the gypsies are usually flowers. So they're automatically lumped into that group of people, which
Right.
some of them have a lot of money, but they typically are not highly educated. They work on the streets, and some of them are extremely wealthy. We've come to find out, and I've seen them in Turkey many times. But he lumps Zeynep and her family in with the gypsies. They are not gypsies by a long shot, which there's nothing wrong with gypsies, but he's lumping them in with a group of people which they're not part of.
And then using that misinformation to
That's
judge
right.
everything. It's more so it's
Yes.
just a misinformation because
Yes.
they're not nomadic in any way. They're very
No.
settled. This
No.
has been a family
Although I will
oriented
say
business.
her cute little truck that they take the flowers in, that would almost make me think that they were gypsies as well, because that's very typical of the gypsy style trucks. It's adorable. I love it.
I think it's adorable.
Yeah. But that's another reason why he puts them in with that category. But it's just great for hauling flowers. That's what it is.
Yes.
But so when she's planting the flowers out there, it makes him, because she does like flowers and that kind of thing. It shouldn't have anything to do, really, and not much of a, place in the household, except it's supposed to take care of Kader and the girls.
Right.
And so she plants these flowers, and he comes out there and is talking to her, and he indicates that he thinks she's just a flower seller. And then she tells it, a florist, thank you. Check letters is actually the name.
Only because he actually calls, what do you do besides being a florist? Something like that.
Right. Yeah. And I love that. I was so glad he asked that question and started being curious rather than just having assumptions that were incorrect. And so she tells him, actually, I'm a literature teacher. So in Turkey, the way that it works, when they get their license to be a teacher, so she graduated university and all that, and she wanted to be a teacher, but it's like our public schools here, except even harder to get in. So basically you have to apply, and then they place you not necessarily where you applied, anywhere in Turkey's, and you just have to go there and hopefully work your way back to a bigger city, because you might end up in the sticks somewhere, and that's just where you start. That's kind of how the system works. But for some reason, there were more teachers than they had places, and she's young enough, she hasn't had very many open seasons yet to get in. And of course, just like with anywhere, if you know somebody, it's much easier to get in somewhere. And she doesn't have any pull anywhere. She's just a very intelligent young lady that will work hard, but she doesn't have any pull. She doesn't have any contacts to get her in. So that's why she's got so much work ethic and pride that she's going and helping her family any way that she can, even though, because I will say there's quite a few people that I've met that if they had that kind of education and really wanted that kind of career, they would not go back to selling flowers on the street, because those people are considered more uneducated. And that's not the case in her regard at all. So I thought that was a good moment.
I did.
It's one of my
loved
favorites.
That. Well, because it was the look on his face, because he had quoted a poem, and he was like, "Do you know that poem?" And she recites the poem, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm smart." And it was like, whoa. And so that night, they had gone through the letters that John had talked about in the beginning of the episode that showed that he wasn't the father. Serhat that night is burning them. And him and Zeynep are out there, and he's burning the letters. And Halal sees them burning, and Zeynep's like, I'm gonna put it in the trash can so nothing will happen. They can't see anything, but she watched her and then went and got the letters, and they reassembled. Now the cliffhanger. Oh wait, hold on a second. There's two parts to this cliffhanger. It is a two-parter. We also see Ebru meeting with Cihan in a restaurant because she had DNA tested him, because she was like, I'm so sure you're the father. I haven't even opened this envelope up yet. And I'm going to open it right here. And she's reading it. And that's the cliffhanger for that story. But the cliffhanger for Halal is that Halal had assembled the letters
Yeah.
What I can't. Yeah, had assembled the letters and read something, and she goes to Serhat's office and she's like, "What's going on? I know this. I know everything." And that's kind of the exit is, "I know everything."
Yeah.
So,
We'll
yeah,
see
and
what
so
she actually knows. Yep.
yes. So episode 4, we're gonna find out the DNA test results, and we're gonna find
Yep.
out what Halal knows. So it was a great cliffhanger. I
It
mean,
was.
so much happened in this episode. Clearly, that's why it takes so long to go through it. And I'm gonna figure out how to summarize better, though. But do you want to do a next segment?
Yes, let's do it. So the next segment is our red flag alert. So we're going to talk about the person most likely to ruin everyone's life later on in a further episode, like 8, 9, or 10. So who do you think from this episode gives you the best red flag alert?
You know, the first 2 episodes, it was the mother for me. It was
Yeah.
very much she's a snake in the
Yeah.
grass. But I'm realizing something is that she doesn't have any control over her sons. None.
No.
So I'm
No.
actually don't find her as the red flag anymore. I mean, Cihan's
Yeah.
the easiest one, but as far as
Yeah.
who's going to stir the pot the most, I think it's got to be Sedef.
Ugh. I'm telling you what,
I
that woman,
mean,
I wish she would just
she
go
is
away.
only out for herself. That's it. And she
Yeah,
doesn't
and you
care
wonder
who
how
she
far she'll
steps
go
on.
to try to get what she wants.
Yes.
Because she will do almost anything to try to get Serhat. And for some reason, even though he gives her zero interest, he does not reflect any. There's not even a smidge of him being interested in her. He knocks that idea down
he's like,
every time. I mean, he makes it very obvious that he is not interested. And she just doesn't seem to get the point. Or if she gets it, she still thinks she can. No, I guess not.
She literally is out for herself.
So what do you think she'll do then as a red flag to ruin it for everybody else?
She's going, well, okay, so she's going to, because she's self-serving, I think what she'll do is she'll position herself where she's needed, where she's given the perception that look at what she's doing for the daughters. Look at how much she's needed. And she got a job with Serhat at his hotel so he can keep his enemies closer. I get that. But he's just given her access to him.
Yeah, he has.
That's
what I thought. I thought you may keep your enemies close, but when you have a woman like that, you keep them as far away from you.
She is erosion in a personified form. She's going to wear them down.
All right. So this time is Sedef for the red flag alert. I think that's true. We'll see. So the next segment is, wait, what did that mean? So that's for you. Okay. For language or culture or both.
All right. So I actually had a question that I'd written down throughout the episode. It's only one question that I've got for this.
Okay.
But the house that Serhat lives in, where it's like a building here, then a building here, and then a building here, and then another house here. Like, it's almost like it's a community college in my mind that he lives on. Like, I remember here, like, is that normal to have it so separated like that? Or is that lifestyles of the rich and famous?
That's lifestyles of the rich and famous, because he has one house with his daughters, and then Cihan and Azra live in another house with the mother. And typically, if they didn't, it's not that they don't live in close proximity. Culturally, that's very common. But what they would normally do is maybe have one flat in an apartment building. They'd have one flat on one floor would be like Serhat and his family. And then the other floor would have, another floor would have Cihan and Azra and the mother. And I mean, there might be multiple family members that each have their own flat. And so they're close at hand. That's very common. But typically, unless you're very wealthy, those are called villas when they're separate dwellings like that. And then that's basically even more than a villa. It's like a compound of villas where it has two.
He has his office in one building too.
Yeah,
if you remember.
That's like a separate building. Yeah, and I think he did that for privacy since they're all in the house together. a lot of the time. I think he did that so that he could have privacy, although it's totally glass enclosed.
I was
So I don't know how much.
just to have
Yeah.
privacy when the walls are made out of
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah. I think probably just like to have meetings where he was talking and nobody else could hear. But yeah, that's definitely just because that they're wealthy. That's not typical. And, depending on the how affluent a family is, there might, just like in the US, there might be more than one family living in one flat if that's needed. It's
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. But yeah, so there, this is something that isn't actually a question, but I wanted to show you something. I don't know if you can see it, but you see this ring?
Oh,
I
it
want to
is.
tell you.
I've actually been looking at it as we've been talking. I
Okay.
did want to
Well,
ask about it
I
because
want
it's
to tell you just a little bit
beautiful.
about this ring because this is part of my Turkish cultural experiences, if you don't mind me sharing about it.
Of course.
So when I used to import handmade Turkish jewelry, so this is a solid silver piece, and so if I can get it up close to the camera where you can see it. Well, let's
Is it
see. There we
green?
go. It's a ring.
Is it green?
No, it's silver. It's oxidized. It's supposed to
Okay.
be. Yeah. And so I found it when I went to this. I was introduced to these workshops in this little village, and I went there, and there was one gentleman that was making these. And what they do is they start out with a solid piece of silver, just a flat piece of silver, and then they heat it and they curve it because it's a little bit curved, as you can see,
I
to fit on
see
your
that.
finger, right? Then on the top of it, that's called telkari. Ah, wish I could get it in front of the camera in a good way. And those are each little piece is hand soldered on there. And so I watched this gentleman and he actually was making these rings. There was only one in the workshop that made this particular set. So I used to have earrings. I don't know. Actually, these earrings I have on though are also telkari. They're not a match for it, and the telkari,
They're
I think
beautiful.
I've talked about it before where they take, it looks like silver thread and they take like two, they look like tweezers and they hold it and they spin it. And these, you can see it better in these. That's actually spun silver to fill the space. Yeah, it's
Oh wow.
beautiful. I watched
They're
them.
basically wet. They're spider webs of silver.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like a spool of thread sitting there, but it's actually silver. So he was doing this, and I was making comments. I was trying to speak a little bit in Turkish that that it was beautiful, and asking questions of the owner. But he didn't say anything, and I thought, well, the gentleman, the artisan that was making it, I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm a foreign woman. He doesn't want to speak to me. I didn't know. The women were speaking to me, so I didn't know. And find out later when I was talking to the owner and ordering some of these, he said he's the only one, and he was one of the very few men that was working the workshop too. The rest of them were all women, but he was deaf. That's why he wasn't answering me when I would say things. But he's so talented, but I had no idea he was deaf. I thought, well, I guess he didn't want to talk to me.
Right?
But anyway, I think it's beautiful, and I
It
don't
is
even know if I can still get
absolutely
these,
stunning.
but when I start curating the Turkish Joy collections, then I'm going to introduce jewelry like that again back into things that I offer because I just love the people's stories that make it. That's awesome. So, okay, enough of that.
It's
Oh,
beautiful.
because okay, so this is kind of a cultural piece. They've been doing this for over 500 years, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, in another Turkish Disney that I'm currently watching, there's a lady that is probably about my age that she wears a pair almost like this. Actually, I have the exact pair that she's wearing, and she wears them every time that she's in the Turkish Disney. I'm like, yeah, because I know how they make
Oh,
this. Yeah, it's beautiful.
oh, they are
All right.
beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
So that was the wait. What did that mean? Although I went off into Turkish culture, but then
Yeah, that
me.
totally works.
So our final segment before we do our Disney survival guide, or as you said, Turkish randomness, we can do whatever. Is the wild theory corner, which means what do you think happens next in episode 4?
I want Cihan to be the father, but I don't know if he is. Like, I'm not 100% sure on it now. I mean,
I
you
know.
know.
I know, but the thing is, in the next episode. So here's the point with Turkish Dizzies. They never reveal something right away.
Oh.
So we're only getting, so I'm just going to, that's all I'm going to say as a prediction, that they typically do not just flat out unveil something. I'm always thinking, in a typical movie, like an American movie, we would know the next thing that's going to happen. We'd find out who the father was. But
Right.
Turkish Dizzies are perfect about stretching it out far beyond anything I can ever imagine.
Burn.
Yes. And so I'm wondering if there's something that, even though Ebru is so certain, Ebru says that she knows that it's Cihan, but she hasn't looked at the results yet. And the fact that she's so certain, the way that Turkish Dizzies usually run, makes me think that she's wrong.
100%. I was like, well, he's not the father now.
Yeah.
Or
but if he's not,
then
who is? We already know that John isn't.
We know that John isn't. But then the other side is, if it shows some sort of, here's the thing, a DNA test done on brothers is difficult because it could be really any of the brother, right?
But she didn't just do a DNA test, though. She did a paternity test.
That's right. She didn't do
That's
DNA.
different.
But she's so confident that makes me think I agree with you 100%. Her level of confidence makes me go, it's not him.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I guess we'll see.
Like, because I'm like, this is good build up, because something's gonna happen. We want that validation. We want that chapter closed just for Kadar's sake.
That's right.
That's simple. They can move forward, but that would also mean that Zeynep would not be there anymore. So
true. And that doesn't seem like that's going to happen either.
No, she is the only voice of reason in this entire show. I'm going to tell you that right now. She is the only sane one. That's it. So
yeah, I really like her. Yeah. And then Philo, with her confronting her father. So I'm curious as to whether he will finally tell the girls what's actually going on, which they're old enough. They're like, I don't know, 12 and 14 or something like that, 13 and 14. So I'm thinking, at that age, I was old enough. My parents, I would have hoped they would have just told me the truth, because they're old enough to handle it.
I don't think it's an age thing about it at this point, is that their world is about to change even more.
That's true.
And need to be, they're about to grow up quick.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he's trying to protect them.
He's trying to keep their innocence, and he's trying to make sure that they enjoy their childhood. But their mom's already in a coma.
Yeah.
They're already dealing with the hard stuff.
Their life has already changed. Yeah.
Their life has already changed. Their life was already different because of how they grew up, but now their life has already changed because you've had trauma.
Yeah.
So now they've already got trauma, and so it's going to keep getting worse, because what do you can't hide from it. That's not, secrets eventually come out. That's just how they work.
And I would rather just know up front. Yeah. I think you can do it.
Secrets.
You can do it gently, but I think for me, I always feel like if people keep something from me that really affects me, I would have rather known it up front so I could deal with it on the front end, rather than.
It's also because they're making a decision for you. When they tell you, the biggest thing about this, and this is, I'm going to tell you, this ties right into my late husband, is that he would keep things from me to make me, to protect me.
Yes.
Now, Serhat is doing the exact same thing, but you are still feeling that. You're still going through that, which means that your daughters are still being affected by information they don't know, because you're angry and you're taking that anger out on the people around you, but you're not telling your daughters the truth. So what they're having to do is like, well, dad's angry because of this. They're guessing it. Tell them why you're angry. Tell them why your behavior has changed. Give that to them. Give the information to them. They are old enough to where they can understand it, because they've already had to understand their mom being in a coma. I'm not saying this is what you do with 6-year-olds. No.
Right. No.
But the conversation will dictate the age.
Yeah.
How much you share, and how much how you word it, you do that based on their age. But taking the information away completely, but they're still getting affected by your emotions, is not fair.
No,
it's just not.
I don't think so either. I think he has good intentions, but that's just I don't
You
care
know
for
what the
that.
saying is? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So yeah, it's
Well, if
not. I
that's
mean,
the
if you're going
case,
to be
then he's going down
but
that road fast.
well, and the thing is his good intentions are taking their decision away to be able to react because this is going to
Right.
come out. There's too many people that know about this. There's
Right.
no way they're not going to find out.
Right.
But now they're finding out about this horrible secret and finding out that their father has been lying.
Yeah.
So now they've got two
Exactly.
things.
Yeah. To deal with. Yeah.
So now I've got to deal with what you didn't tell me, and it's brand new information. But I also have to deal with the fact that you are lying to me.
Yeah.
Choosing to lie to me. That's a whole different ballgame.
And they
So
really,
you're getting two traumas there.
And they really trust him a lot. And he is quite trustworthy when dealing with them, except that he's keeping this from them.
He should not keep
So we
that
will
from
see
them.
what happens.
And
I'll
he
tell you
should
what.
tell the mom too. Honestly, tell the mom.
Oh, his mother?
Yeah, she's
Sevim?
going to find out anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to find out anyway. And again, she's going to be upset about the lying, but it would also be able for her to understand your behavior.
Yeah.
Because right now,
she has
you
no
just look
clue
like
why
you're
he's
crazy.
acting the way he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, she keeps thinking, you should be excited if your wife ever wakes up. And he's like, what
And
wife? That wife's already gone, in my opinion, in my life. But she has
and
no
he's
clue.
like, at least I didn't pull the plug. He's over there.
I guess we can't chalk that one up on his good side.
I mean,
That's funny.
Like, I mean, you could see it in his head. He's like, I mean, I could solve so many problems just by.
Exactly. That would be so tempting for sure. Ugh.
Because once she's gone, people aren't going to be like, oh, you're so excited. Your lovely wife.
She is not somebody that he's going to want around, and definitely doesn't need around her own daughters.
I hope she doesn't wake up. Are you kidding me? I'm like, she's going to make it so. You're going to ask me who's the red flag, who's going to stir the pot the most? Barat, when she wakes up. 100%.
Maybe she won't. Maybe she will just fade away to nothingness. I guess we'll see. So, the Disney survival guide for this time, what?
You're like, fade away to nothingness.
So, see if you agree with this one, and then we'll cut it off until next week. And we get to talk about episode 4. So, see if you think this is true for a Disney survival guide tip. If 2 people lock eyes for more than 5 seconds, your life is about to get complicated.
I agree. Agree 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, a survival guide is never be alone in the same room with one person. Like if they're like the mother, like when Azra left, I was like, you could see Ebru's look on her face, like, oh my God, I'm gonna be alone with this woman. Never be alone. Never. No. Always you gotta have a buddy system.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So on that note, we will look forward to next week. Same place, same Dizzy, and same all the things. But we will see you then at Turkish Joy podcast next week.
See you next week.
Okay.